Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Perfect Cell figure. I figure with the other androids coming out soon, we might as well take a look at this guy again. It's been a while, and I think many people are going to want to pick up this figure if they haven't already after getting the other androids, so this will be nice and informative for you if you haven't seen my older review. This is one of the best, I think, overall SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures. It's not to say he's perfect, but he's got a lot going on and he's pretty well done. So let's take a look at the height. He stands to the top of his crowny thing about 7 inches, about 6 1/4 to the top of his regular head, the black part right there. So definitely has some good size to him with the wings out. He's a pretty imposing figure. I mean, he's got some definite shelf retail going on there. Or not retail, real estate. Retail, stupid. And he has a lot of accessories too, so not only is he big, but he's got a lot of stuff. So he comes with the arms folded accessory that's now relatively common. So those the arms just pop off at the biceps, and then you can put those on, and it looks just like that. I'm not going to bother doing it, but it looks just like that. So you cross the arms, it's molded to fit over the chest, so you can just have him standing there looking menacing. He has 3 different faces. One is the smirking face right there. One is the blank, mostly blank face. I know some people don't care for the design of his face, that it's not so show accurate. It's good enough. It's definitely passable. And then we have that one that's yelling or laughing. We have a lot of hands for this guy. Not a huge amount, but a decent spread. So we have the 2 fists. We have 2 kind of, I don't know, style pose hands. Nothing in particular, but they give you some options. And then we have the 2 completely open palms, which is fairly common. And then we have the 2 kind of clenching open palms. So you can imagine what those would be for. And then we get what is not my favorite accessory ever, but this is his Kamehameha Wave. It's pretty large, translucent plastic. It's like, you know, the blast itself is 6 1/4, the base, pretty good size. So this is mostly translucent. It's kind of milky. It has some blue shading, and it has kind of a silvery effect. It's like glittery kind of. Not glittery, but metallic. I don't think it looks that great personally. I applaud their effort and I appreciate their effort, but I don't think it turned out that great. The wave effect for the ground has little bits of ground coming up. It goes from bluish to greenish to brownish in the shading. It's nice and translucent. Looks okay. I don't know. It kind of looks like water. It just, I don't know. It doesn't really work. And then this kind of patch of ground, I think having it have a kind of an even shape all the way around detracts from it. I think kind of like a broken look. Maybe using this with the Bandai broken ground parts that I'll be reviewing soon would be effective. But to me, it's just, it didn't quite hit the mark. It was a good idea, not the best execution. And then this is just a standard Tamashii Nations upright. So I don't know. I mean, I like that they included it, but I don't know if I'd ever actually use it in a display since it's kind of, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. But let's talk about the figure. He is loaded with sculpted detail. All those little specks on him, all the wrinkles, it's all sculpted. It's all painted really well. And then there's shading on top of that. So like all the musculature is shaded airbrush style. Looks really good. And then all of these black armor bits are kind of a metallic pearlescent. He looks kind of like a beetle, which he is kind of bug-like, so that's pretty nice. I like it. I like it a lot. And then for the neck, articulation-wise, we have a peg for the head. Problem with this guy, his head pops off fairly easily. I understand that that's quite common, so be aware of that. But just a peg for the head, hinge, and then we can swivel that around inside the neck. We're back to having an articulated neck. His actually works pretty well, so that's pretty good. Let's pop that head back on there. This time the shoulder covers are just hinged, kind of like a Gundam, just hinged on top of the shoulder itself. So we have that ball peg in the torso that lets this move around. Ball hinge for the shoulder. You can see all that sculpted goodness at the top of the shoulder. and it looks pretty good. Even though these are fixed to the shoulder itself, you can hinge the arm just like a Gundam underneath the shoulder pad, and it really accounts for the range of motion. So I like that. We have a bicep swivel right here, double jointed elbows with elbow pads. These things can sometimes pop off. Either put a dab of glue on them to put them back in place, or just put them back in place and they'll be okay. The top joint, as is semi-common for these figures, doesn't really give us that much motion, so we don't get too much better than 90 degrees, unfortunately. Sometimes they move a little more, sometimes they move less. It kind of depends on your figure, but it is there. The wrists, we have the ball peg, ball hinge, and then the swivel inside. Slightly limited due to the kind of a cuff there on the wrist, but it's not too bad. The torso has an upper diaphragm joint that gives him a really good range of motion. Not too much of a swivel, but side to side, front to back, really nice. Then we have one at the top of the purple here, which gives him mostly the swivel. Not too much of anything else. And then we do have at the bottom another one, which gives us mostly side to side and swivel, not a whole lot front and back there. He does extend, so that's back, and it gives him even more range of motion. So he can really, his upper torso can just really pose all over the place. And it looks good. The way they've put it together is you don't really see the joints too much. So it's pretty good. I like it. Excuse me. The hips, they do have the hinged ball pegs, so they drop down, giving you that extra range of motion. And then we have, it is a little limited. You can't pull the leg up as much as you would like due to this armor, but there's nothing they could really do about that. It is a softer material. It's not completely soft, but it's not completely rigid. So we have a standard ball peg inside that socket, and then the thigh can swivel around that. It doesn't swivel, maybe it does, I'm not sure. Oh, it does. So it swivels, the purple part swivels around that socket in there. You can see that there's two parts where it actually connects. And then the green can swivel around that as well. So it's extra swivelly. I forgot about that. So that's even better. I'm happy about that. Then we have the double jointed knee with the kneecap. Again, those can pop off just like the elbows. A little bit of glue will fix it. But it looks really good. The way they implemented that was quite effective. Pretty good range of motion there. For the ankles, it's kind of hard to see, but I'll pop it out and hopefully not break it. Double jointed, or double ball peg for the ankles. Doesn't have the best or greatest range of motion. Fairly limited this way, fairly limited this way. It's just not the best. And then we have a toe joint, which is done well, but I don't know if you're going to use it that much, but it is there, so that's good. Paints are good throughout. Like I said, sculpts are good throughout. The wings have ball hinges connecting them, so they can move all around. Pretty good range of motion there. Go out that way, go down, whatever you want to do. So it's pretty good. Like I said, if you like Cell, you should get this figure. He's one of the better SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z figures for sure. Not perfect, but really darn good. Not too much more I can say about that. Especially if you're going to get the Android, you might as well get Cell too. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.